where are the opportunities in the marketplace right now, right? We're at high interest rates, prices are still high, but found a good opportunity. Was smart, we think it's 5% down, maximizing seller credits on there, and then focusing on, hey, how can I go in there and add value? Go in there and add a bedroom, increase the rents. And then as we talked about, Section 8, especially the Aurora and Denver housing authorities, they are paying premium rents right now. And he's also focusing on the rents they're paying, and is absolutely just riding the market trends and saying, hey, here's what the market's giving me, threading the needle for the best opportunity. So I think this is just such a great case study.
Yep. It's the right buyer, right property with the right strategy.
Exactly.
Hey, everyone. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about how adding value impacts the ultimate return when you're out there buying and scaling your house hack portfolio. So adding value or value add is a very common term that people like to use in real estate. We're going to break it down and actually talk about how people are adding value today to really start maximizing cash flow and drive the best returns based on the house hacking strategy and what works in today's Colorado market. So I am joined by two experts here, my usual crew, Jeff White with Envision Advisors. What's up, Jeff?
Living the dream, Chris, every day.
I love it. And Troy Howe with Nova Home Loans. Troy,
hey,
great to have you back.
Good to be here, Chris.
All right. Now, of course, anything we're talking about today is educational purposes. We are not giving financial advice or anything like that, just sharing a recent deal and some strategies. Always go out there, make sure you talk to the appropriate team. And a big shout out and thank you to Troy and Nova Home Loans for sponsoring the podcast, and also sponsoring the monthly meetups we do, which is really, this topic came from, I think, the last meetup. And now we're going to dive into it because adding value is such a critical strategy for creating wealth and creating cash flow in real estate. It's a popular term, but the way it used to be used all the time no longer really applies in today's market. So, Jeff, what is adding value in house hacks?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So a lot of house hacks, people rent rooms, rent out units, and really the key things to take away from this is renting rooms. Pretty straightforward. Is more bedrooms equals more cash flow. So how do you add more bedrooms? Square footage. You have to look at the square footage of the house and make sure it's big enough. You convert dining rooms, you convert sunrooms, you convert basements to multiple rooms. Pretty straightforward concept. And then unit side is, okay, if I have a unit, could I apply the same concepts from a rent by room strategy? Can I add a bedroom somewhere? Where can you add a bedroom? Usually on a multifamily. Usually you see it in the square footage thing. You have to look at the size of the place, look at the layout, and look at the dining room. That's usually the key spot to look for. Where is the dining room? Can it be converted? Does it meet code requirements of usually 80 square feet or more, or 8 by 10? And can it meet the definition of bedroom, which is two forms of egress, so one door, one window, a source of heat, one light switch, one electrical outlet, a closet, and 4 walls, and that's it. That's pretty straightforward. A lot of dining rooms can be converted over, and they're usually dead spaces anyways that most people don't use. And by doing so, converting bedrooms, you usually, just like the rent by room concept of adding bedrooms, you get more cash flow because now instead of renting as a 2-bedroom, you now get it as a 3-bedroom. And of course, remodeling kitchens and bathrooms, that's the general sense what most people see on those HGTV shows of renovation of a place. That helps too, but that's more like value add from more of a longer term play, or if you're trying to do more of a fix and flip or BRRRR strategy, that's where you apply those concepts. The bedroom additions, converting dining rooms, converting bedrooms and basements, and like sunrooms and upstairs, like that's definitely something every house hacker could keep in mind and do for a lot of the places that we look at.
Yeah, and I'll add on here because when most people get into real estate investing, the BRRRR strategy, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, is a strategy I also want to do, right? It makes so much sense. You go out there, buy a property under market value, you have a hard money loan, put money into it, you add all this value, so you increase the value, the price of the property, and then after 6 months, you can take your money out and have like very little or zero money down the property. Works great. Problem is it doesn't work where prices are today and when rates are in the 6s and 7s range. So adding value this way, this is not about increasing the value of the home to do a cash out refi. It's to increase the cash flow of the property, and that's the main thing.
Precisely.
And when you pair this with a house hacker who's going to put down 0 to 5% down, they already are so highly leveraged with like very little money in there. They don't need to worry about pulling their money back out. Like the amount of work it would take and having the stars line to pull, hey, $30,000 in down payment, too hard to do. But if you can add this value and add cash flow, you get some amazing returns while you still stay with very little money in the property. So let's go through an example here. Jeff, Troy, I know this is a client that closed recently and is a great example of value add. So give us the client profile.
Yeah, 27-year-old, high W-2 earner, consultant, almost a perfect lifestyle for a house hacker. Gone a lot of times, traveling every week, just needs a room, doesn't need a lot of space, doesn't have a lot of things to move around. So like idealistic client, and also flexible. Wasn't in a box of like, I have to be next to Sunnyside neighborhood in the Highlands. He was like, I'll go where the deal makes sense. So the flexibility opened up the door to a lot more deals. And because of his schedule too, he was willing to do what it takes to maximize the cash flow as much as possible. So pretty much the perfect type of house hacker. You say that, Troy?
Really? Yeah, he was stellar.
Yeah.
House hacker.
And the goals, from day one, he wanted to say, okay, I'm a single guy. I don't need a lot of space. I'll do all the strategies I can to maximize the cash flow. So he was already, that was his first goal. And then because of, general consistency, like he wanted, because he knew about the 5% conventional loan product that Troy offers, Fannie Mae, that he was like, I want to get a fourplex because I want my own unit so I can maximize, get more units plus still cash flow. The challenge was, a lot of these multifamilies, the 2 to 4 small multis, you see them more so as rental grade, saying it nicely, because, investors own them. So they don't usually make them as nice as like a single family house they live in. So you have to factor that in. It's like, okay, how much work is needed to bring this up to market? If it's below market, how much work to just make it look great so I can rent it out at the highest possible price. And then also on the deal we're talking about, it's going to show that because fourplexes are just not as common, you do have a risk of appraisals not always coming in at value compared to a single family. And then on this deal as well, we had some challenges with the listing agent where it wasn't a straightforward and someone to vouch for this, even the seller. And that's what's really, you can't control what you can't control. And if the listing agent's not assisting you, trying to get the high, the value, so it praises correctly, the appraisal sometimes, not surprisingly, comes in lower than what you get offered. And that's what happened in this case. Unfortunately,
yes.
90% of the time appraisals come in, at list price or higher. And this is the 1% of the time.
Yeah.
So here's some photos. Look on the screen here. If you guys can't see it, we'll describe it. But it's a 4-unit, so 2 bed and 1 bath. It's been updated because you said this was from a flipper, right?
Yeah. So this was a flip. They fully renovated, repainted it. New windows, new carpet, new flooring, new appliance, like everything.
You got stainless steel appliances in there too.
Yeah, it's nice.
And dishwashers. I mean, this thing was really, like, I would say definitely higher than rental grade for a lot of stuff over in that area. Probably the nicest multifamily over there.
All the units were very comparable.
All of them look like that.
Yeah, what part of town is this in?
Yeah, North Aurora by not Tower, like not east, like northeast Aurora, but not Tower Road east, but a little further west of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is
pretty nice.
Good looking
really
place.
Nicely updated.
Yeah.
Probably,
it's a good looking
probably
place.
overly done for that area
Yes.
too.
Especially stainless appliances.
Good for the buyer.
Yes, because you wanted something, going back to your goal, move-in ready. And this is absolutely move-in ready.
Check the box.
Yeah.
It was in his buy box for sure.
In the buy box.
All right, so got this. Did a house hack. What's the value add play here?
So this one's really straightforward. When we looked at, if you go back to prior slide really quick, you see that dining room right there with that little, the other picture in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle
here?
Yeah.
Right there. So that was the sign. So there's two, if you look at the bottom left-hand picture and then that middle picture, that's the entrance to the kitchen. And then the middle picture shows another entrance to the kitchen from the dining room. So that was the low-hanging fruit. It's like, okay, here's wasted space. doesn't meet that 80 square feet.
Wasted space. Who
Who uses a dining room? Exactly.
The inefficiency of it all.
They're mini grandmothers right now.
Are not happy with you, Jeff.
Don't tell grandma. But the strategy he wanted to apply to really maximize it was a combination of Section 8 rent by room. How do you get more value? What does Section 8 pay by?
Bedrooms.
Pay by bedroom count.
Yeah.
So he's turning it and met the code requirements of Section 8 because it'd be 80 square feet. He'd add a door, window, closet. The light switch was next to it. So the light switch, he changed that light fixture to like a normal bedroom light. So met all the code requirements.
And has heat in there, it looks
Has
like.
a heat source, yeah. So you didn't have to worry about, this is not a bedroom technically. It's like it's like a little storage room. So it met the code requirements. And on his unit, and all these units were vacant. So this is like a perfect case study because he didn't have to deal with inherited tenants.
Wait, all 4 units were vacant?
All 4 were vacant.
All
'Cause it was
4
a
were
flip.
vacant.
It was a flip.
Yeah.
Were they even trying to lease them up, or they just wanted to
He was
flip it?
going to if it didn't close,
Okay.
the seller. So luckily he did not lease. We put that in the contract too to not market the
Oh,
tenants.
yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have it 100%. So this one's another great example of sometimes you see this where it's fully vacant. And to me, that's like, I would pay
That's
more for
ideal.
a vacant one
Yeah.
than dealing with inherited tenants because inherited tenants has a whole host of issues that we won't get into now, but just know,
There's more pain there.
there's more pain.
There's more pain.
And struggles and usually below market rents. But so this one is vacant and he converted all 4 of those dining rooms into bedrooms and turned 2-bedroom units to 3-bed, 1-bath units. And by doing so, utilizing the Section 8 strategy and then also rent by room, he made a 8-bed, 4-bath fourplex to a 12-bed, 4-bath fourplex. So that much more true value play and increasing the cash flow exponentially because it's a 4-unit.
And what was the improvement cost?
So what do we say, Troy? 17K.
Yeah, quote
all
for
in?
upgrades,
Yeah,
7K all in for construction.
all
All 4
units? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's super efficient because he's just adding a closet, a window, a door,
Yeah, 2 windows.
2 windows.
Because 2 of the bottom ones in the dining rooms didn't have windows, so you had to do 2.
Oh, so 2 windows out of the
2
4.
windows out of the 4. Yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's just
Pretty straightforward. Yeah.
closet door
Drywall,
and-
texture paint, doors, trim.
Has he done this yet, or is this still?
No, it's already done. Yeah.
It's already done?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and he just closed March.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, and then came in right around budget then?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, good
Great
job.
contractor. You lined
Yep.
him up
I
with.
referred him, gave him 3
Yeah.
quotes, made sure he shopped around and got the best one. And then going over, I guess Troy can go through the loan part here. Yeah.
Well, loan deal part, but purchase price, as you can see, appraisal came in $9,000 under, which Jeff had done a stellar job with the negotiations for the original contract price. Had a nice seller credit, so it just really ended up netting that seller credit down a bit from what we
So
originally had.
purchase price was $899.
Yep, praised for $890. The loan's always going to be based on lower of the 2, so we
Yep.
did a 95% of that $890 for the loan amount, and then he bought down the rate a bit, Jeff style. You want to optimize the cash flow.
Do you
and
know what he got
not
the rate at?
Oh boy, I'm sorry, I don't remember. It was
7?
6. It was 6.
6.8?
It was 6.
Something-
Yeah, it was
something like
maybe a high 6.
Okay. Brought down a little bit.
And then we had some leftover credits because, again, the credits were robust enough to cover buying down the interest rate, cover the basic closing cost, where he still had some left over, so $3,450 to go towards that improvement cost. So he had to come out of pocket a little bit with that, but as we'll see in these later numbers, it will pay for itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Hand over
Which
fist.
We'll go through that.
Yeah. So anyway, seller credit came in. So yeah, he had put down a nice deposit on that. So he's into it for about $46,000 in change just for the initial cost, and then he had little improvements that he threw in on top of that.
Yep.
Wonderful. And then we got the spreadsheet here. So if you're not watching the podcast, you can look at the blog post or email, so we can send you over the spreadsheet. And this is also the spreadsheet that Troy built. And so it's designed specifically for house hackers. So if you're underwriting house hack properties, this is the spreadsheet you want to use. All right, so Jeff, while we're living here, or while he's living there, estimated negative
106. This is
$100 a month of negative cash.
No, that's great about this one. It shows if you had one roommate and that did nothing. So if you didn't do this is if he did not do any improvements.
This is
Left
no
it as
improvements.
2-bedroom, just 2-bedroom units. He would pay $106 to live there with one roommate, paying all the utilities for his unit and like water, sewer, trash for all units, he'd pay $160 for a $900,000 fourplex if he didn't want to do anything. The day he moves out and switches it to a 2-bedroom Section 8, now by moving out of his unit, he's going to cash flow over $1,400 per month or $17,000 in a year on a 5% down conventional fourplex deal, doing no work. Like that's how move-in ready it was. So
Wow.
This deal made sense just from the get-go of if you didn't want to do anything, you just say, I just want to buy it as, I just want something move ready. I travel a lot. I don't have time to deal with contractors. Let's just make it work as a 2-bedroom. It works as a 2-bedroom.
But then it got enhanced.
Yes.
Yes.
The enhancement aspect.
So next spreadsheet is converting it to a 3-bedroom.
Yes.
And rents are basically going from $2,200 to about $2,800 a month.
Section 8.
From a 2 to 3-bedroom for Section
Correct.
8 rents.
So $673 per month times 4, Chris, because it's 4 units. So that's where the true power is. So if you just go through, like, these numbers almost look made up, but they're all legit. So
Yes.
renting 3 out of the 3-bedroom units, he gets $2,874 for the 3 units he's not living in. And then on his unit, now it's a 3-bedroom. He'll take the little dining room that Chris so much loves because it's the smallest room. So he rents out the 2 other rooms at $800 each. So he's getting $1,600 plus 3 times $2,874, over $10,000 a month living there. So he's going to cash flow $2,500 per month, or over
Positive.
living,
Yeah.
living for free.
That's nuts.
Yeah, living there. And so basically almost getting back his whole like part of his down payment, closing cost, his first year.
Yeah.
And living for free
Close.
and learning how to house hack. And then the day he moves out, renting 4 of them out Section 8, he'll get over almost $4,000 per month, or almost $50,000 in a year, which, at a 5% down deal, I would call that definitely one of the like a great deal.
Grand slam.
Grand slam, great deal that,
Yeah.
these deals do pop up, and this client was smart enough to take advantage of his flexibility and understand the value proposition, and he will achieve these down. And he just, he did convert it to 2 to 3 bedrooms.
And he achieved the $2,800 rents with Section 8?
Yeah, I think the only thing is he's still deciding if he's going 1 or 2 roommates.
Yeah.
So maybe he won't get that $2,500 per month, like living there. Maybe he just wants the 3-bedroom to himself. Maybe
Or maybe he rents one room and has
maybe
one
he
as
wants
his
one for
office.
his office. Yeah, so
Or his
he's
stuff.
still deciding that, but maybe it won't be. But when he moves out, he'll get the $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already filled 2 out of the 3 so far.
Section
And-
8s?
Yeah, and he's waiting for
Perfect.
1 more. Yep.
Wow, just what an amazing deal you guys found for him. And so great job to you guys helping to structure this deal and finance it. But also it goes to show about, where the opportunities in the marketplace right now, right? We're at high interest rates, prices are still high, but found a good opportunity. Was smart, we think it's 5% down, maximize some seller credits on there, and then focusing on, hey, how can I go in there and add value? Go in there and
Right.
add a bedroom, increase the rents. And then as we talked about, Section 8, especially the Aurora and Denver housing authorities, they are paying premium rents right now. And he's also focusing on, the rents they're paying, and is absolutely just riding the market trends and saying, hey, here's the market's giving me, and threading the needle for the best opportunity. So I think this is just such a great case study.
Yep.
It's the right buyer, right property with the right strategy.
Exactly.
I mean, you're bringing all 3 of those together to make a very strong deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these deals do exist. I mean, they're
They
not every single month type deal, but they do exist, and people
Patience and
are
persistence.
patient.
How long was that fourplex on the market for?
Like about 2 months.
Okay, 2 months.
Before,
What was it originally listed at?
What was that? I think like probably $950 they started at, and they
Okay.
dropped it to like $925, and then $899, and then it was still because it was the middle.
That's when
it
Jeff
was
started circling.
Yeah. Then
And he came
yeah.
in $899,
Yeah.
and that's
when, and then we asked for like a $40,000 seller credit and all that. So
Yeah.
and they're a motivated seller, right? Because it's been on the market a while.
Yeah, so so that was about about a 10% reduction. We take the seller credits in there with the
Yeah,
the original list price.
exactly.
And depending on what part of town is, anywhere from some small multis have a very small price correction. Others are 10 to 20% type reduction out there.
Yep.
So there are opportunities out there.
Yep, and that's where these when they're right time, like motivated seller, right? So it's someone that's a flipper. So what's the problem with fix and flippers? No problem with the strategy, but their source of funding can be an issue when they're paying 10 to 14% interest every single month. That definitely hurts you. And
Yeah, especially when there's no revenue coming in on the property.
Yeah, they're not renting it out. So.
And a
carrying
lot
it
of
for
times
2
these
months.
hard money loans, they'll have a 6-month or 12-month term, and then you either have to extend it, and you pay a fee for the extension.
Yep, you pay a point or
and
two.
then sometimes you can't extend it, and then you might be looking for the hard money lender. So like that is, definitely where some people get in pain. Like different pain than someone has, oh great, I've owned this property for 10 years and I've got it at a 4% fixed interest rate. So I love targeting opportunities like this. So another great case study. If you guys want to learn more, obviously plug into the monthly meetups we do. We're starting to teach some monthly classes or webinars as well, some foundational series on beginner, intermediate, advanced. So lots of education out there. But most importantly, if you want to come out here and do a deal with one of us, reach out to us. You can scan the QR code, visit the website, or email Troy, Jeff, myself. We love talking strategy. We love going out there and doing deals. So, Jeff and Troy, thank you guys for another great podcast.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
It was fun.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.